I love to ignore my problems and just pretend they don't exist until they like blow up in my face.
Yeah. But does that make for good songwriting material?
Totally does.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Emily Curl and welcome back to my virtual studio. Today we're joined by musician, songwriter, and artist UPSAHL. Hi UPSAHL.
What's up? How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Thank you for being here. We were just discussing this has been a crazy week, so it's nice to have a little break to talk about some music. So nice to meet you and so glad we're able to do this.
Yeah, you too. This will be fun. It's been quite the mess of a week, so this is a nice little break from it all, which is nice.
So I have to tell you, I actually first discovered you on my For You page on TikTok. And which is honestly so funny. But for our audience who doesn't know, you do this amazing series where you take regular audio from people just talking, speaking, and you turn them into song form. And oftentimes the songs are like actually fire. When did you get the idea to create something like this?
It happened like at the beginning of quarantine. I feel like along with everyone, I was like, all right, fuck it, like I'll get a TikTok, it's fine. And then sort of like became obsessed with it. And then I remember I would watch some videos of people talking, and like over time I realized I was like, wait, this is kind of rhythmic, like the way they're talking. And then I would kind of start like singing it in song form, like around the house. And then finally I was like, oh, I should like actually post this online. Like I don't really know how TikTok works yet, but maybe people will dig this, we'll see. And then just like started doing it and people thought it was funny, I guess. And so it's been my little quarantine hobby, has been just making these videos. It's been fun.
Well, we have to discuss, so you made one from Lizzo's David Letterman interview, and Lizzo actually duetted it. Where were you when you first saw that Lizzo had seen your video?
It was, so I had made the video and it wasn't doing well. And then woke up the next morning like very hungover to like 5 different texts with like a link to what looked like just the video, and I was like, yeah, why are you all sending this to me? I've seen the video, but I clicked on it anyways, and I was like, oh, it's the video on Lizzo's like Instagram. Like this is crazy, and freaked out. Like it was, it's insane. I've been such a fan of Lizzo. I feel like especially as just like a woman in music, Lizzo is like such an empowering like artist to look up to. So the fact she even like has seen my face, I'm like, I can die happy. It's great.
Incredible. Do you think, I'm curious for you, that, because on TikTok you have such a large following now and some people love your music and what you create on there. Do you think that's like impacted your artistry, like your career outside of just like making fun videos?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, once the duets once people started to enjoy them, I guess, I saw that they were like going to my Spotify, like there was a direct kind of link, which I love, and I feel like there's not a lot of platforms that do that, where like then they're like, oh, I actually care about this person, like, oh, they make music, let me check it out. So I feel like that's just a result of TikTok being the supportive community it is. I think it's like the coolest platform that we have right now, because people on the app are like so unapologetic, like they're just like there to support each other for the most part. So I've loved it. I feel like lucky that the TikTok community fucks with me, I guess. I don't know. It's cool. It's been fun.
Thank God for TikTok, honestly.
Truly, we love it.
Now let's take it back a little bit, because you've been a songwriter for the likes of Dua Lipa, Anne Marie, and Madison Beer. And in fact, you worked on one of my favorites, Good in Bed, from Dua's album.
Yay, thank you.
I feel like between WAP, between Dua's album, Ari's new album, I feel like 2020 we've seen a lot of women artists level up on their sexuality. Do you agree with that?
Totally. I think, 100%. I think like because of those artists, I've like leveled up on my sexuality too, just because like this has been so inspiring to see. Yeah, it was interesting too, like with Good in Bed, when the album first came out, of course, it was like my first cut ever, so I was like going online, making reviews, whatever. And a bunch of these like gross old like white men were like, I just don't like the song, like it's too much, like why is she? And I'm like, that's exactly why this song needs to exist, is because it's like making people a little uncomfortable, and like to have a badass artist like Dua like be so upfront, I think is like what the world needs. And like, yeah, it's totally like this wave of women just like saying what they want, and I'm just like stoked to be like a little small part of it, you know?
I'm so here for that.
Yeah.
And you talked about Lizzo and you talked about Dua. Who's an artist you really admire, and what about them sticks out to you the most?
I mean, growing up and still to this day, Gwen Stefani is like my idol. I'm obsessed with her.
I could see you and Gwen vibes for sure.
She's a queen. But like, since I was little, I've listened to No Doubt and like loved watching all of the music videos, and I was just obsessed with her. Talk about like a badass, like openly sexual woman. So yeah, growing up, I was obsessed with her, and to this day, like, she's still like my favorite artist ever. She's such a badass.
Such a badass. What's one of your favorite songs that you've ever written for yourself, and one that you've written for another artist?
Ooh, that's good. One of my favorite songs, I think my favorite song I've ever written for myself is my song Drugs. Ever since like we wrote that song, I was really nervous to put it out, and then like once we released it, people kind of started to dig it, and that song has just always like been my baby. It's like my favorite one to do live. I think that one's my favorite. My favorite song I've written for someone else, I mean, I barely have any cuts in like the music world, but I think Good in Bed, like, because it was my first cut and I kind of went into it not knowing I was writing it for another artist. I kind of was just like, oh, we'll write this idea for me or whoever. Like, there was really no plan, and so that's why we were like so unapologetic about it. I think that's like my favorite part about that song.
So let's talk about your EP, Young Life Crisis, out now. In what ways is this an introduction or maybe like more insight into who you are as both an artist and as a person?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the EP over quarantine, mostly on Zoom with different producers and writers.
It's wild to me.
I did most of it at like my parents' house in Phoenix because I like, of course, like went back with family and stuff at the beginning of quarantine. And I was like really going through it like everyone else. Like our worlds were like flipped upside down. So mental stability was at a low. But I remember I was like, if I do a bunch of sessions on Zoom every day and I keep my schedule like jam-packed, I won't have to deal with my problems. Like, this is great. So I just kind of did that, and then writing songs was very just like therapeutic. And then I realized like at the end of this summer that I accidentally like narrated my Young Life Crisis in an EP. And it was cool because like for me, like in quarantine, everyone has just been kind of stuck with themselves, like forced to work through their issues or whatever. So I was doing that on Zoom with these poor writers who had to just like hear about my life. And yeah, without
therapy, songwriting.
No, literally, it's like, it was great. But without me kind of noticing, I was like working through my problems by writing this EP. So it is the most like vulnerable I've gotten from a songwriting perspective, and I feel like everyone's had a bit of an existential crisis this year, so I hope that people can like relate to it in some way. Yeah.
My favorite so far, again, I mean, it's all so good because you're right. It's like, it's gritty and you feel like it's really raw and real, is Young Life Crisis, the song. And I mean, I love that one. But what stuck out to me too is I saw on your Instagram that you said you were on a tour, and the day after your first tour date, right, is when the world shut down. So I can imagine you're excited to get out there. You're ready to play to audiences. What did that feeling, I mean, take me back there. What did that look like for you when you're like doing this thing, then the world shuts down?
It was wild. It was wild too because I had like an existential crisis with like an identity crisis with my music in January of this year. And then once I finally was like, oh, this is the kind of music I want to make. I'm ready to go on tour for the next 6 months. Like, let's rage. Like, I was ready to go. And like everyone else who went on tour, like we were all so hyped. And I played one show in St. Louis, and we were like driving to the next place. I think we were like headed towards like Chicago or something, and like got the call, and like it was crazy too because like all artists like will like when you're on the road, it's like you go into this like time warp or something. Like it feels like you're kind of detached from like everything else that's going on.
Like the world feels on pause maybe, but you're like running around.
Because your whole life goes on pause when you leave for the road, pretty much, you know. Like you come back and everything is for the most part like where it was. So that was like a real like grounding moment for all of us. We were like, oh, like the world is kind of like going up in flames, and like we're in the middle of the United States. Like how are we gonna get back? We can't fly. Like it was crazy. But I mean, everyone had to go through it. It was wild.
It's interesting to hear you talk about too your identity crisis, because I wanted to ask you, you know, as you're, you know, emerging into this world as an artist, how important is it for branding for you, or for anyone who's, you know, trying to be an artist? I feel like that's a huge step. And what did that look like for you in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm 21, so like my mind changes on the daily about everything. So I found it like very hard to stick to one genre or one vibe or one sound or whatever this like brand is. So there was like a moment where I just like wasn't fully vibing with everything that I was doing, and I kind of had to like take a step back and be like, all right, like this job, which to me it isn't a job, it's like literally like the dream that I've wanted since I could remember. But this job, like it's a lot of work. It's not easy. Like if you're not obsessed with all the music you're putting out and like ready to like go play these songs live, and you're not just like in love with your life and everything about it, because at the end of the day that's like what you're giving to people, like it's not worth it and it's like inauthentic. So I had to do this like check in with myself, and like now I feel like, especially coming out of like this year, and I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was at the beginning of the year, and like honestly have quarantine to thank for that, because I was forced to like figure everything out. But yeah, it's interesting making music like in my early 20s, because like my life is changing like every second. So my music is like evolving with that, which is fun, I guess.
What's your first memory of you realizing that you could sing? Were you like, okay, I want to do this? Like, and when did you realize? Because I think, you know, everyone grows up, they like see people they love singing, and you're like, oh my God, that'd be an amazing career. But very few actually do it, you know, and pursue it. When was your first memory of like, this could be a real career for me?
I don't even know if I ever was like, I don't think there was ever a moment where I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. It was always just the only thing I was like okay at. Like I tried everything else. I wanted to dance, gymnastics, like painting, like singing was the only thing I was like remotely good at. And it was the only thing I ever wanted to do, like before I could remember. Like it was just what I was doing, was like singing. And I grew up in like musical household. My dad was in punk bands like when I was growing up, so we had a band room in the house, and like he was always like playing instruments. Like it was literally just like, it was always just the biggest part of my identity. So once I got to like high school, and especially towards like the end of high school, when like all my friends were applying to college, I was like, yeah, I definitely just want to like move to LA and do sessions. Like this sounds great. So I guess that was a moment where I was like, I want to make this like my life. But since I could remember, it was always kind of like the only option for me was like doing music. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we have Young Life Crisis out now. Can we expect more music from you? Maybe not this year, next year. What does your timeline look like?
Yeah, I'm always like, I'm in sessions every day, so I'm kind of in like writing mode for 2021 right now, which is fun. We might have a new song before the end of the year. I don't know, we're like working on some stuff, but as far as next year goes, like there's gonna be so much music. I'm very excited, and hopefully, if it's safe at all, next year touring. I'm hitting real hard.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see your show in New York. That's all I'm saying. So that better be on your list.
So fun. I know. I like miss touring so bad. So the second it's okay to do, I'll definitely be hitting the road.
And now I was gonna ask you, you ended up creating a Lizzo song, right, from that audio?
Yeah. It's on my SoundCloud if anyone wants to check it out. Me and my friend Pete, I like hit him up. I was like, hey Lizzo, duetted this. Like, we have no choice. We absolutely have to make this into a song. Like, I don't even care if no one listens to it. Like, this is just fun. So we like got like wine drunk on Zoom and like made a song. It was fun.
Wine drunk on Zoom. That's the brand of 2020, truly.
Seriously, it really is.
So UPSAHL, before we let you go, I thought we could play a quick rapid fire game. So I'm just gonna tell you the first part of a sentence and you fill in the blank for me. And if you could just repeat the sentence back.
Oh my gosh, this is stressful. Okay.
No, very easy, very easy.
Okay.
The most surprising thing I've learned about myself this year is...
Oh, damn. The most surprising thing I've learned about myself this year is that oh my gosh, this is the hardest rapid fire question.
I know, as soon as you said it, like, I hope it's not hard. I was like,
the most thing I learned about myself this year is that the most surprising thing is that I love to ignore my problems and just pretend they don't exist until they like blow up in my face.
Yeah. But does that make for good songwriting material?
Totally does. That's why I do it, is because deep down I know to like make a good song.
Well, I hate that for you, UPSAHL, but I love that for us because I love the music we have.
Right.
My very first concert was
Avril Lavigne when I was like 6.
When you were 6?
I think I was like really little.
How was that?
I was young. It was amazing. I was like obsessed with Avril because she was like this punk, badass chick. I loved her.
Oh my God. I know Avril truly was like, she's like defined like my high school years, I feel like.
Right. She's amazing. I love her.
The best advice I've ever received was?
The best advice I ever received was that if you're not like in love with your life, it's not worth doing the things that you're doing. You have to like switch it up until you're completely in love with it.
3 things I'm thankful for this year are?
3 things I'm thankful for this year are my friends and family, wine, and Zoom, because it's made my life like possible to carry on, you know?
True. Honestly, yeah, Zoom really has been the unsung hero.
You came through. Like, Zoom really did come through this year. It's great.
UPSAHL, thank you so much for being here. So nice to meet you. I so enjoyed our conversation. And for everyone watching, make sure to stream Young Life Crisis out now on iHeartRadio. And hopefully, UPSAHL, we'll see you again very soon.
Yes, hopefully on the road soon. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks so much for watching. You can stream UPSAHL's Young Life Crisis out now on iHeartRadio. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.